I love singing at church on Sunday mornings with the whole congregation. This was the first time in about 20 years that I felt safe enough to use my voice and be loud. Hello, I'm Emma Aurora, and this is my transformation story. The story of me re-remembering who I really am. I would sing loud on Sunday mornings with the whole congregation, singing worship songs, and eventually I would start singing harmonies as well. I had this desire to sing my own song and not just be part of the crowd and sound like everybody else. Amazingly and thankfully, I was in an environment now where I was encouraged to sing, to be loud. That was so special to me. I even went to another night service sometimes, a church service, where they sang different worship songs. Their songs expressed more different feelings, and I really liked that. One Sunday morning, instead of the pastor preaching, one of the congregation members, a lady, got up and she shared her story and she shared her own songs that she had written. So she played guitar and was singing, and I was so inspired. I loved it, and there was so much self-expression in her songs. They were so unique, and I thought inside me, I want to do that. I actually joined the band of the night service, the sort of youth service that I started going to, and I learned to play bass guitar. My friends helped me, they were lovely, and I wanted more though, and I actually bought a guitar and I started practicing. I also wanted to sing at the night service in the band, but I wasn't yet confident enough to be able to sing well into a microphone. It was one thing to sing on Sunday mornings with the congregation, where it doesn't matter if you sing a wrong note, you can't really hear the sound of your own voice. But to sing in a microphone is a completely different situation. One day, I found myself in a state of emotional turmoil. I was extremely anxious, afraid, and I was crying, I was upset, I was feeling pain. All of my suppressed emotions and experiences from childhood were bubbling up and leaking out. I felt out of control, so I went to see the pastor. I don't remember what he said to me. I don't remember what I said to him, but he was a very relaxed man and very kind and patient, and he calmed me down, and when I left, I felt better. Somehow he made me feel not so alone in what I was feeling and made me feel like I was okay. And this actually happened several times over the years that I was at that church. In this period of time where I lived, I often went to the rainforest alone. In the middle of nature, I still felt more connected to the universe. I felt more at peace, I felt more comforted, and the pressure of trying to be nice and happy and acceptable for other people wasn't there. As a new Christian, I bought a Bible and I began reading it. I also began praying regularly, talking to Jesus, and listening to God. In this video, I will not use the word God anymore. I will simply refer to this entity as the universe. As I read the Bible, I had moments when a certain passage or a group of words would stand out to me. It would kind of be like it was lit up with some sort of energy, drawing my attention to it. And it was always the verses, the passages, the words that were very positive and loving, and they spoke to my heart. I read through a few books in the Old Testament where the people were often on the move. They traveled a lot. The many journeys of the Israelites in the Old Testament speak of a pastoral and nomadic people. They were animal herders, they were farmers, they relied on nature to provide for them. They also moved around a lot, moving with the seasons, living in tents. They were not settled in one place. What I also noticed in the Bible were the instances of deep spiritual experiences, dreams and visions. So the first few years of my life as a Christian, I spent at the same church in the same town. And during those years, I began to want more spiritually. I wanted to experience something deeper and more meaningful than everyday church, Bible, prayer. I also wanted to feel closer to this loving entity, the universe, that was described to me. And I wanted to feel more of that loving kindness that I felt the first day I went to church. I had a growing sense that I needed to leave my home, my town, my church, my friends, my job. And all of these pictures from the Bible of people traveling and relying on the universe to take care of them. Stories about missionaries that were shared in church doing the same kind of thing. And these images of deeper spiritual experiences they culminated into something that was drawing me to other experiences. I knew that there was more for me in this life somehow. And by staying in the same place, the same church, same job, same friends, same routine, I wasn't going to experience more. I was going to experience the same things. So I decided to leave. This would turn out to be my first tower moment. The structures that I had built up in my life to survive and to be okay, they were starting to crumble and fall. If you don't know tarot cards, there is a card called the Tower card, which represents exactly that. certain old structures or certain things in your life that crumble and fall away in order to make space and allow for something new to emerge. And me leaving my familiar space, my familiar life, was my first tower moment. I was being called to something else, and it made me step out into the unknown, into unfamiliar territory. I'm so thankful for that first church that I went to, for their kindness, for their friendship. They took me in and shared their lives with me. So I quit my job, I packed my car, and I left. I drove south. I found a Bible course in central Queensland that was only 2 weeks long, and I thought that would be a good place to start. It was in the middle of nowhere, and I mean nowhere. This town is surrounded by arid bush, so trees here and there, and cattle, paddocks of cattle, acres and acres, miles and miles of cattle. And the amazing thing though, the really special thing about this place in the middle of nowhere in central Queensland, Australia, was the night sky. Because there was so few artificial lights, on a clear night, the stars were just amazing. You could see so many. It was so awe-inspiring. I spent many nights outside on my own, staring up at those beautiful, twinkly little dots. When I finished that course, I felt strongly to continue driving south. So I did. I visited family along the way, and I landed in Brisbane, where I tried to stay with my grandmother, but she was getting quite old and funny in the head, and she didn't really want me there. So I had made contact with another lady who was connected to a missionary organization, and she let me stay one night in her home. And in the guest bedroom on the night table next to the bed, there was a newsletter from a Bible college in Melbourne, of all places. And I read this thing from cover to cover. I read every single word. It again was sort of lighting up to me and stood out to me, and I just knew I had to go there. That's where I was going to end up. And I was going to go to Bible college and study the Bible. So at that point I was in Brisbane, which was 2,000 kilometers away from the town that I'd left. So I had already driven 2,000 kilometers by myself. It was the first time that I had ever driven that far alone. And I had now chosen to go to Bible college at a place that was another 2,000 kilometers away. So I'd have to do it all again. I enrolled in Bible college and I went on my way. I visited another friend on the way, and I ended up in Melbourne 2 weeks before semester started, and I didn't have anywhere to stay. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know Victoria. I didn't know the weather, the nature there, the climate, the environment. I didn't know anybody. Nothing. So I went to a church that was quite well known in the outer suburbs. It was quite big, and they had a welcome team, and I got talking to some people, and I ended up being able to stay at a couple's home in their guest bedroom for 2 whole weeks before college started. I was so thankful for these lovely people. And when I arrived in Melbourne, I was an emotional mess. So anxious. I had driven so far by myself. I was so afraid of everything happening to me, everything going wrong, other people doing stupid stuff to me, taking advantage of me. But I made it. I did it. So during my whole journey of 4,000 kilometers, which by the way is about 2,500 miles, I had my guitar with me and I was playing guitar and singing worship songs by myself in private. I was practicing, I was enjoying singing and making music. This was, however, only the beginning of me rediscovering my voice.